My father was my great teacher because I started to work with him when I was really little, and he taught me everything. He taught me how to be humble. He made me to wash the dishes first, then to serve people, and then cook, because he wanted me to understand how everyone is important in the restaurant. So it's not only the chef.
This is the Deep in the Weeds podcast. I'm Anthony Huckstep. The late nights, extreme deadlines, and very nature of hospitality lends itself to self-medication and addiction as a way to cope. But the industry has also been an avenue for salvation for many, finding a deep connection in the kitchen or on the floor or to the produce that provides support and a career and a place for people to find themselves. Daniela Maiorano is a chef currently in Byron Bay. Daniela, how are you?
Hello, I'm really good.
Well, it's great to have you on the podcast. You're a third generation chef. The career's run a long thread through your family. What's it like growing up in a family of chefs?
I mean, it's, of course, amazing. I grew up surrounded by food. I always have really amazing food around me. But in the same time, also a little bit sad because all of my family was always working, because we're running this restaurant since the Second World War. And my father's family, they really like, in my hometown, everybody knows them because of the restaurant. And my father was always working like 7 days a week, 6 days a week, only one day off, so I couldn't see him. But in the same time, I was always like eating really well. When I finish school, always have my amazing meal ready. So yeah, it's been like really amazing for me. Also, for my what I've been doing now, it's all because of my family and how I grew up in this environment.
Well, take us back to that time of when you grew up, and you grew up in Rome. Tell us about the food in the family and the first time you sort of started falling in love with the idea of working in food.
Yeah, I actually grew up in Abruzzo, which is an amazing, beautiful region in the middle of Italy, just a couple of hours from Rome. And then I moved in Rome when I was 18. And the type of food that my family, that we cook, it's like traditional Abruzzese food. So is a land full of like lamb, and a lot of cheese factory, so a lot of like homemade fresh pasta. My father was doing, and my grandmother also, because my grandmother, she's the one that she started to make our restaurant to be a little bit, let's say, famous in the area, because she was doing everything homemade, all the fresh pasta and the terrine. And then she also invented a sauce to do this pasta called farfalle alla Clemente, which is my great-grandfather, my father's name.
Wow.
With all the leftover that we usually have, like the end of the prosciutto, carrots and mushrooms. She invented this sauce that became really popular. And yeah, that's like the food that we used to do in my restaurant, that my father is still doing because he's running the restaurant now. And I mean, I fell in love with food. I always loved food since I was little. My mother told me that I didn't have any problem, like I was eating everything. Yeah, but I didn't want to be a chef because when I was really young, because I saw my father always working and do a lot of sacrifice. So I had a little bit of, I didn't want to do it. So I went in Rome and I studied uni. And then, my friend, she was doing a cooking school, and I say, oh, why not? I'm going to do a cooking school too. And my father was really happy. And then I found myself that was, when you know that it's something that you born to do it, like your dharma. So I felt so comfortable, and I felt like myself, and everything was really easy for me, because I grew up with my grandmother rolling gnocchi, and I learned how to love through food, because that's what my parents, they were doing with me. They were feeding me with love, and that's what I learned about also loving people by cooking them amazing food and makes them happy.
Well, it led to an extraordinary career in Michelin-starred restaurants. Can you tell us about that period of time and some of the main influences on your life in regards to chefing?
Yeah, my last experience in Rome was in this, like, for me it's the best restaurant now in Italy. It's called Retro Bottega. And the chef, the owner, it's Alessandro Miocchi, was one of my most influence about fine dining. But for me, the main experience, like the experience that I can say they still with me every day in my life. And when I went to work in this amazing bakery in Rome, really famous, Bonci, I don't know if you know this amazing baker. And I met Franco Palermo, Roberta Pezzella, which is like one of the most important baker in Italy.
Wow.
Yeah, and actually I learned not only like the side of course, making money and cook fine dining. I learned also like how to be humble in the kitchen and how to help other people cooking, because for me it's more about like communicating and helping and make something special for the others. So that's what for me makes me happy, just to make also happy other people and try to help them. And yeah, that was like my guru. I found it in this beautiful bakery. And I'm still in contact with them. I always call them if I need something. And that's it. And yeah, of course, like working in the fine dining was really helpful, because you want to learn like the techniques and all the base of the cooking. And in Italy, it's like you work in 6 days a week, from 9 till midnight in the night, and was great. But I couldn't do it anymore, because you can't live this life for many years. It's not, I was like, I stopped to love cooking because I was stressed, I was angry, I was like, I couldn't do anything else, I couldn't see my friend. And I stopped to love what I was doing. So I think that was a really important time of my life to learn what I have now, but also it's not what I want to do in my life.
You've had some pretty serious obstacles in your life, including heroin addiction. Can you tell us about that period of your life and how you managed to pull yourself out of that?
So when I was 14, I was really crazy. I don't know what happened to me. Maybe like family circumstance, and I was like really rebel, punk, and I found myself with this group of friends that they all were using these horrible drugs. And that's it. And I became addicted really early. Yeah, when I was 14, for about 10 years. And but because I always have this really big fire inside of me, I was addicted. But in the same time, I had all of this energy also to do other million stuff, even if I have this big problem. And I was working in the same time, having this big problem, until I became like really sick, and I went to rehab for 1 year. And slowly, and I met a beautiful doctor that helped me to been through this really dark moment of my life. But working full time in a restaurant, it also helped me to have a little bit of discipline. I also become a boxer, like professional boxer, and
Wow.
see, and I was like working full time. In the time that I had break, I was training, and then I was fighting in boxing. So I've been like, I just, I work really hard to make myself to go out from this situation. I have a lot of friends that they died and they still using drugs, but me, I just want to be different. And so all the things that I learned, who I am now, it's because I have this really big experience in my life. And it's my big gift because I learned so much and I'm really empathic now with people. And I just want to help other people. And my way to do it, it's just through the food, just cooking and make community and make people happy and maybe teach something to how to be strong. And I really believe that everyone have the power to do something better and to do everything they want. You just need to be, you just want some. I really want to be healthy and different. And I have all of this amazing energy to change the world that I still have it. And that's it. I've been and now it's been 10 years that I'm clean from heroin. Yeah, so I did 10 years and then I'm free since 10 years.
4 years ago, you decided to come to Australia. Can you tell us about what led to you coming to Australia and what it was like when you first arrived?
I decided to live. I was in Berlin before Australia, running a little Italian restaurant, but I wasn't happy anymore in Italy. Also, I would give to me a chance to do something. Also, first of all, to learn English, because I didn't speak English, and now I have this really big Italian accent that I think is never gonna leave me. I just want to explore different world, and make myself, like a challenge for myself. I'm 37 now, almost. So I was already like an adult person, but I just want to challenge. And I came here really with nothing. I didn't know anyone, I didn't have friend. And slowly, I felt really alone at the beginning. I mean, I came with my friend, but then we were just me and my friend. We didn't know what to do. And I start to work around I work in so many different places. So now everybody knows me in Byron Bay because I've been working everywhere. And I start to work at this vegan restaurant, No Bones. So I challenge myself also doing vegan food that I never made in my life. And I was also having problem with the visa because, I didn't know how to stay. But yesterday I got my permanent visa after 2 years. Yeah, so because I have a girlfriend and we did the de facto. So, and I end up in Harvest in Nuremberg for 1 year. I had a really amazing experience there, and I have the possibility to meet a lot of amazing producer, a lot of amazing chefs since the COVID happened, and then everything shut down. And for me, COVID was the best gift of my life. I know it's not the best thing to say, but for myself, for my own experience, was like the time that I realized that I was ready to do my own project and not work anymore for other people.
Well, tell us about what you are doing in regards to sharing and helping people with your food.
I mean, when I was 25 years old, me and my father, we went to do this project in England, where we went working in this restaurant, and all the people that they were working there, they were people from the street, or they went just like out of the jail, that they have drugs problem. And our rule was to help them, to teach them like this beautiful work that is to become a chef. So we were try to keep them out of the street, and teach them how to cook. And me also, I was in the same situation of this guy. Even if I was teaching them how to cook, I was exactly the same. So I felt this big connection. And I saw like all of these people that they were so happy in the kitchen, that they were like trying to change themselves and do something better. That make me to realize that maybe like we can use like this heart to help other people. So at the moment, I'm not doing like a big project because that's what I want to do. And I just took over of this beautiful farm up in the hills called Humbrook Valley, when maybe we're going to do workshop and, also involve the Aboriginal community and, create something around food that it's not only fine dining, but it's more accessible to everyone. And it's more about community and sharing. And the ingredients, they are really important, but for me, it's also really important what is behind the ingredient, who makes the ingredient, what's the story of the people behind this. I'm really interested about people more than anything else. And then, really, like when I'm cooking, I'm just watching the face of the people and see what they're doing, if they're smiling, if they're happy. You know what? I become the nonna, the grandmother of the situation. Yeah, I'm actually feel like this because I grew up with my grandmother, both of my grandmother feeding me and my father also, like with all of this love. That all the food was always ready, and I felt so like protected and so happy that now I'm doing this with my friend. I'm cooking for them every week, and they're just so happy, and I want to feed people.
You're in a very warm area of Australia with interesting ingredients. How different has that been, the ingredients in the area and getting used to that compared to what you used in Italy and Germany?
My God, it's really hard. I still don't understand the season. We have a beautiful product. There's a lot of things happening here. There's Palisa Anderson with her beautiful farm, and there's all of these little like farmers that they're doing amazing produce that for me it's really hard because you have to. I'm still doing Italian food, but I start to use all of these ingredients and they different. And I think that in few years I'm gonna be able to understand how the season working. And maybe have a little garden and grow my own veggie. But it's not really easy. But it's amazing because I just start to learn about native produce, and that's make me. It's really interesting for me because for me, all the place where I'm going, I always want to understand the place, like the herb where I'm living. So I don't want to use like weird vegetables that do not belong to this part of the world. So I'm trying to learn as much as I can about the ingredient.
I know you have the Italian heritage and background to your cooking, but tell us about your cooking these days. Can you give us an example of some of the dishes that you cook to give us a sense of where you're at as a chef?
My main thing is pasta and bread, of course. And I usually I'm really good on making pasta and risotto. It's, it's really my thing. It's really like something that I love to do, that I love to eat. And I do all the different shape of homemade pasta, like tortelli, ravioli, plain, and spaghetti, tagliatelle. So all of these different kind of pasta. And then I also, because I had this big experience working in a bakery, I also really love to do bread. And I also was working in a little bakery here that it just opened. So I learned a little bit more the last year. And it's really, my food, it's really, I can say, simple food, really comfort food, like fresh vegetables, like, everything that you can find on the market, because we have a beautiful market in Ballonbimbi and Byron Bay. So I'm just going there and see what I have. And I make everything with the ingredient that I found in season. And it's more about like grilled vegetables, arancini. I'm having a pop-up dinner next week. And I made my homemade salt cod that in Italy we call baccalà, because it's impossible to find it here. And I'm going to do this tortelli with the filling is with baccalà and cime di rapa, which is rapini, and a little bit of preserved lemon. So that's, for example, one of my dish. But I also, because I was living in Rome, I learned a lot about the poor food, which is all the offal. So because in Rome we use a lot of offal, so like the ox tongue or the tail and the sweet bread. So I also love to work with this meat, which is like something really cheap, but in the same time amazing. So that's a little bit my kind of food.
With the discovery of so many different ingredients that you've been experienced, is there some Australian produce that you'd love to export back to Italy?
My God. I just went in Tasmania and I love the abalone that I never tried in my life. But all of this lemon myrtle, aniseed myrtle, all of these like little like native berries, but I don't think it's possible to do this in Italy. They're never gonna grow.
You talked about the 10-year heroin addiction that you went through and pulled yourself out of, and hospitality is an industry with lots of temptations and pitfalls. What advice do you have for anyone that might be struggling with these?
I know it's really hard, because when you hard work like in fine dining or Michelin star, you always like end up that you're drinking or using drugs because you're too tired. You can't do this life. When I felt that it was too much for me, that I was like losing my center, I couldn't recognize me. I didn't have a relationship with friends. Like, you just decide, like, you have to do something else. You have to do, like, something that you love, but in another way. You can, like, spend your life working so hard like this. I had, like, it's good for a little bit of time. Like, my brother is 23 and it's working in fine dining. And it's been working there since 4 years, but he's already burned out. Like, he's already tired. So as soon as you realize that you're in danger, just like leave the place and do something else. That's my advice.
You've been in Australia for the last 4 years and experienced COVID while living up in Byron. You've got friends and family back in Italy. What's it been like having conversations with them with what's been going on in Italy compared to the experience that you've had in Australia?
I mean, in Italy, it's a disaster. Of course, we have our restaurant that it's been closed since 1 year.
Wow.
Yeah, because there was no reason to open. In Italy, they were like open and close the restaurant, like one day is open, one day is closed. So my father is just decide to close the restaurant, take time off, which is also good for him, that he's been working in the restaurant since 40 years. And he never had like time off. So he just took this opportunity to close and reset everything. It's just really sad. In Italy, it's really sad, the situation, especially in our industry. And was really hard for me because it's been 2 years that I'm not able to go back home. And I'm really close to my family. I have 6 brothers and sisters, and we are working in hospitality in Europe, and was really hard. And also my father, he would like me to come back and help him at the restaurant because he needs us. He needs some of his sons and daughters to go back and help. But at the moment, I can't do it. And also because I start to do my own project here and they're going really well. So now when this COVID finish, I have to decide if I want to go back a little bit and make my own restaurant and make like doing something in Italy. But I don't know.
Food has been so important in your life and your family's life. What do you love about what you do?
Yeah, food, it's like everything, it's around food in my life, I can say. Like my father was my great teacher because I started to work with him when I was really little. And he taught me everything. He taught me how to be humble. He made me to wash the dishes first, then to serve people, and then cook, because he wanted me to understand how everyone is important in the restaurant. So it's not only the chef, because we are nothing without a really good dishwasher. We are nothing without a really good waitress. So he made me to understand how everyone is important and everyone need to have the same respect. So he taught me this, and it's always with me. So all the place that I run, I always try to create this amazing relationship with the chef, and really try to understand that we're not only working, we also have a life, and sometimes we struggle in our life, and it's good that you help the people that they are close to you. And yeah, food, it's the main thing, because everything I do, it's around food. I'm in this moment that I am really creative, and I have all of this opportunity, and I finally found my way to express myself, which is doing pop-up dinner. That gave me a lot of time off, so I can actually have the time to be creative and to think about what I want to do, and maybe visit other part of the country and get inspiration. And I have this little farm Humbrook Valley that I'm gonna do just sourdough pizza and natural wine. So I have all of this little reality that they not make me to stay just in one place. So I'm able to travel a little bit and then put all the experience and all my passion and all the love that I have in the food that I cook.
Well, very much look forward to hearing what you develop with the restaurant there and the organic farm at Humbrook Valley. We've loved having you on Deep in the Weeds to share your story today, Daniela. Please keep in touch, and we'd love to catch up again down the track and see what you're up to.
Thank you very much.
This is the Deep in the Weeds podcast. I'm Anthony Huckstep. Stay tuned as we share the stories of Australia's hospo community, suppliers and producers in search of hope during this pandemic. Special thanks to executive producer Rob Locke for making this all happen. Follow us on Instagram at Deep in the Weeds Podcast or email us at podcast@deepintheweeds.com.au. Stay safe and be well.